there, friends. Dave Paulides, NABS Missing Project, a copyrighted edition for our video channel. And I'm here with Huck, the executive producer, and really the brains behind the organization, there's no doubt. And she's in here making sure I'm being studious and doing my work for you guys. And if I'm not doing it, she's going to let me know. She's a good girl. But she's been running like a mad woman today, so she's taking a little nap. But she's going to hang out and listen to the show, give me commentary later, no doubt. But you guys have asked for it, and I'm going to do it. You guys have asked for letters, and we're going to do it today. Letters. We haven't done these in a while. So I promised you that I would separate the letters from the videos. And I gotta say that it's a mixed bag right now. The numbers of people that listen to this segment is quite a bit lower to the people who listen and watch the missing person segment. That's a shame, because I think the letters bring a lot to the show. I think if you're watching this section, you're a thinking person, you're a critical thinker, because I throw a lot of things at you here that I've never heard of before. So anyway, here's the first one. Hey Dave, this person sent in their Bigfoot test. I must tell you that your undertaking was entertaining and most educational. The amount of information you provided was exceptional and the stories were phenomenal. The hours of research that you put into the presentations surely show and are greatly appreciated. I believe individuals that are seriously fascinated by the Bigfoot phenomena must make the time to review the Bigfoot 101 videos, and there are 20 of them. Complete the test and adhere to your reading material suggestions. Once your Bigfoot store opens, I plan to order the Hoopa Project, Tribal Bigfoot, and Bigfoot Wild Men and Giants. I look forward to reading and sharing information with other interested parties. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I realized halfway through the Bigfoot 101 video series that I could never deliberately harm a Bigfoot. My earlier belief was that Bigfoot was a mystical animal or some type of government hybrid experiment that had gone bizarrely wrong. This mysterious entity, which might be dangerous to man, should be killed so the proof of his or her existence might be proven. As revealed by your intense research, Bigfoot has been identified as a type of humanoid, not some sort of wild beast or destructive entity. I just thought to myself, whether it was a male or a female, like most humans, it probably has a family, so why harm the humanoid intentionally? The damage caused by this reckless manner of thinking could have proven to be detrimental to my welfare and the welfare of others. Just because we don't comprehend everything there is about the said phenomena, it doesn't give us the right to injure or eradicate the stealthy humanoid. The several Native American stories about Sasquatch, Bigfoot you shared really hit home with me. We need to respect this biped just like our native brethren who have appreciated and cared for Mother Earth and her wildlife for eons. As for the older, I truly feel for and respect our Native American brothers and sisters. The Bigfoot 101 videos 18 and 19 were two of my favorites, not just because of the information you provided, but because there were synchronicities between the data and how it related to me and my family. Here's a few of noted synchronicities. My wife and I have friends who live in Allegheny County, which is next to Westmoreland, PA. I need to do research for the missing persons and the paranormal activity that pertain to Allegheny County. There are missing people there, by the way. I've written about them. Missing 411 Eastern United States. My son Chris, who is currently in the U.S. Navy, served aboard the ship USS Somerset. Somerset County is next to Westmoreland County and has missing persons cases. Yes, it does. Christopher was attached to the USS Somerset from 6/12/22 to 7/1/22. Chestnut Ridge, well, my wife grew up in a development called Chestnut Hill Estates, Newark, Delaware. We currently live a mile or so from Old Chestnut Road. You mentioned between 2:30 a.m. and 4 a.m. is the time frame where the veil is the thinnest between our world and other worlds, per some religious circles. As a preteen, I would frequently wake up in the middle of the morning hours around 3 a.m. and wonder why this was happening. Turning back on this, the routine may have been the result of an experience I had when I was approximately 12 years old. The year was 1977. It was well after midnight, and I heard a pulsating hum outside my bedroom window. Growing up just a few miles outside of Newcastle County Airport, I recognized right away this wasn't any aircraft I had just heard. The only thing I remember was cautiously creeping toward the window to peer out, and then the memory card just ends. Orbs and balls of light have dominated orbs in my photos, and I have seen firsthand UAPs outside of my current residence. There is a missing person case in Pleasantville, PA. Well, the elementary school I attended when my family moved to Delaware was Pleasantville Elementary School in Newcastle. In video 19, you mentioned the name Chonito or Chunito Night People. I got to tell you, Dave, that when you mentioned that word, I just about leapt to my feet with excitement. I instantly referred to my journal, for I remember hearing a word very similar. In my journal post on Saturday, September 12, 2020, while driving to work along Route 1, just outside of Dover, Delaware, heading towards Milford, the word that sounded like Choquito came into my mind. I kept repeating the word, to which I thought it was Choquito, and trying to make sense of what it meant and why did I receive that message. I've kept a journal since October 28, 2018. Within my journal, I list significant dreams, paranormal activities, sightings, and synchronicities. To this day, I can't believe what I've experienced, but thanks to the journal, it provides me with an interesting happenings that's easily to refer to. I'd like to share a paranormal event with you that shook my very core. Unfortunately and sadly, my mom committed suicide in June of '91, so it's taken some time off of work to help my dad and sisters deal with the shocking and horrifying situation. The first day back to work since my mom's passing, I found I was sluggish and still very emotional. While on my way to work, I was driving erratically and fast because I was running late. As I traveled along Walther Road, which is a winding and hilly, an older gentleman pulled out in front of me in a late model pickup. Felt I needed to pass him to make up some time, but there was no passing permitted. So I told myself, next clear shot, I'm going to pass this old man no matter what. Suddenly a clearing came and no oncoming traffic, so I gunned the accelerator, prepared to pass. In a split second, a voice was transmitted in my head, and that voice with conviction said, "Don't do it." I adhered to the command of the voice and settled back in behind an elderly man in his pickup truck, contemplated what was next. Anyway, we proceeded to a traffic light at the intersection of Route 40, and the older man was in the first in line at the light. I was behind him. Traffic light turns green, and as the gentleman proceeds through the intersection, suddenly he is broadsided by an excessive speeding 4x4 truck. The crash I witnessed was very disturbing, for the force of the impact seemed to be detrimental to the older man. I saw the older man's body slump over lifelessly as both vehicles careened into the ditch. I drove forward, glancing to my right, and looked at the older man. I said to myself, he must be dead, with tears flowing and my body shaking. I couldn't get myself to stop. Fortunately, motorists were running towards the scene during my time. My brother-in-law lived in the development across from where this accident occurred, so I stopped at his house, tried to get the wits about myself. I thought, my God, that old man could have been me. At the time, I was driving an '83 Honda Prelude, which was a vehicle that was low to the ground. The truck that ran the light would have easily crushed my car and probably would have killed me. What upset me the most was thinking about another loss of a family member. My father just lost his wife, and my sisters lost a mother. Now they could have lost a son and brother. I truly believed that command, "Don't do it," came from my mother to save my life. I was so sorry to hear about Ben. I wish you and Angie much love and healing. I believe we are contacted by our loved ones from the other side through various forms of communication, such as dreams, voices, and other phenomena. I think that happens. I didn't think so when I was younger. But then again, I didn't have a son that took his life. Since then, synchronicities have happened to me too. And, like I've said before, I get these waves, and it's like a wave of emotion that hits me sometimes. it's debilitating. And I hear this from a lot of people. When I was in grief counseling, I heard this. So, next story. Hey Dave, your video today in its review of Skinwalker Ranch inspired me to send you this quick story of something that happened to me a couple months ago with a bushy ficus tree in my backyard. This person lives in California. It looked like something threw a black colored rock or other inanimate object out of a bushy ficus tree in my backyard. The object The object laid on the ground about 6 feet away for 15 seconds. It then lifted up about 5 feet going towards the tree as if going back into the tree, but instead fell down directly under the tree for a few moments. Then it looked like it was sucked straight back into the tree. I saw no wings, head, legs, or tail. It did not change its orientation. It was smaller than a bird, bigger than a bug. I was then stunned and unable to make sense of what I saw. It did not seem to move or propel itself in any way. It was as if it was being sucked or pulled. When it had been moving slowly up back into the tree at first, it was like whatever was sucking, pulling at it to let it go and let it drop. It went straight down quickly like a rock. Then about a week later, I threw a ball to my dog towards this tree every day, standing about 40 feet away. One day, about a week after the black object was thrown out of the tree, I threw a ball and it did a fluke bounce up 7 or 8 feet straight up into the tree. The most I had seen it bounce before was maybe 5 feet. I expected it would just come back down as it seemed to be going into that brush and smaller branches. It did not fall back down. I looked up into the tree and saw nothing. I walked around the 6 or 7 foot tree looking into the tree and at where I saw the ball bounce in and could not see it anywhere. Meanwhile, my dog was just kind of sniffing the ground around the back of the tree as if trying to figure out where his ball went. I poked the front of the tree with a long stick, just trying to push the branches apart and looking into it. But my dog suddenly started to excitedly jump at the tree and bark loudly, like he was seeing something going on in the tree. I stopped what I was doing, had not yet seen the ball, and went to the back of the tree to see what was going on with my dog. He was still barking and jumping. I looked into the tree again, and this time I saw the small rubber ball was in the back side of the tree, about 6 or 7 feet across the front, still very high up. It was being held in the outer branches, in the grasp of about 4 tiny branches. It was held so tightly that I had to grasp it as high as I could reach and tug at it 3 times as hard as I could before it finally fall. I cannot make sense how it could possibly get from the front of the tree to the very back. Although all those branches are still very high up and held tightly, almost like fingers in a hand, it had bounced straight up and into the higher than I could spike it 40 feet away. It did not go in at an angle to be able to go into the middle of the tree and at the same height. Also, why did my dog suddenly start reacting that way? I almost want to say that something was playing with me, and I wondered if possibly it threw the black object out of the tree, then retrieved it to say, see, this is how I retrieve things. I don't need a dog. That's funny. I do need a dog. And how can I play catch all the time? I almost want to say that something was playing with me, and I wonder what happened. Thank you for all your hard work in bringing up this content. It is very much appreciated. Be safe. And then she sent me, this is her backyard. This is the ficus tree. And the red dot is where the ball went in. This is the arch of the ball, where she found it in the back. Pretty interesting. So, I've been around a lot of people in my years. Heard a lot of things. I have a lot of friends that think that trees are living beings, just not living plants. Like, there's something in there. When I was when I was a policeman, I had a friend who lived in the Santa Cruz Mountains. His name was Gene. Gene is a great guy. The nicest people I ever met. And as I got to know him, he told me, I never met his mom. As I got older, he told me what happened. When they were living up in the mountains, his mom one day took a walk in the backyard. And their backyard is like a forest, orchard, pretty wild area up in the Santa Cruz Mountains, not far from San Jose. And as she's walking through the woods, a tree fell over and killed her. Do you know what the astronomical odds are that anyone would be killed by a tree falling over on you? Now, many of you will write in and say, well, Dave, it happens. Of course it happens. But what are those odds? Is it a 10 million to 1? And why Gene's mom? I don't know why. It always struck me odd. Such a good guy, to lose your mom at such a young age. It was devastating. I always think about that. But did the tree have anything to say about that? I have no idea. I'm not going to dwell on it. Next letter. Well, Mr. Paulides, I hope you, Angie, and Huck are doing very well. Huck is snoring here on the ground next to us. About a week ago, something very peculiar happened to me, and I wanted to write it down in this email. My name is Rusba, and I live in North Vancouver, BC. I am an environmental artist for video games and film. There's a contest that is international, and all artists are all over the world could participate, upload their portfolio, and win big prizes. It's a very important contest for all artists in the field that I work. Now, the weird part. About a week ago, my school mentor told me that I should upload my portfolio and participate in this contest. I was hesitant to whether I should do this or not because I wasn't sure if my work was good enough to be a participant. So I decided to sleep on it and the next day make a decision on whether I should upload my works or not. The next day I got a call from my aunt, which lives in Iran, and I haven't spoken to her for about 10 years. She told me that last night I saw you in my dream and you were very excited. I asked you, Rusba, why are you so happy and excited? You smiled at me and told me that there is a contest and I will participate where I hope that I will win the first prize. At that moment I was shocked and speechless. I didn't know what to say. How did my aunt, who lives more than 10,000 kilometers away from me, know about this? Needless to say, the same day I uploaded my portfolio and was hoping for the best. Thought I'd share this dream with you, and if you find this interesting, share it with the villagers. I also want to thank you for all your YouTube videos you have uploaded so far. Although I do not believe in the Skinwalker Ranch show because I think it is all made up and scripted, and they are acting, I do believe things that are out there in the universe, like Sasquatch and other entities, that our primitive mind cannot understand or comprehend these beings. The letters, reading parts of your videos are the ones that I always listen to and I find the most interesting. Thank you for everything. I sincerely hope all the best for you and Angie. So, Rusba, I've learned over the years that there's something called cosmic consciousness. I never really believed it when I was younger. I probably didn't want to spend the time to understand it. But one time, I was listening to George Norrie on Coast to Coast AM. And he was talking about prayer. And this wasn't in relationship to God. It was everyone getting together and saying a prayer for someone who needed assistance getting over a serious injury and illness. And he encouraged everybody to spend a couple minutes then to meditate and send good thoughts and healing thoughts to this person. Now, whether you believe that works or not, I tend to think something like that does work. And there's a cosmic message there that's sent that has importance somehow to that person. I found it interesting. And just like your aunt hearing your message, for some reason that resonated through the cosmos to her. Now, obviously, he must have some serious significance to her, and vice versa. Now, whether she's a blood relative or not, there's something between the two of you that is really important. And the spirit world is attached to both of you somehow. I think it's pretty cool that she got that message. Next letter. Hey Dave, I believe there is something quite insidious going on with the amount of ads posted on your YouTube videos. I'm a premium subscriber, so you get much deserved monetization when I watch it regardless. But there are more than 5 times as many ads on your videos than channels with over 5 million subscribers. The content is the same because these channels sometimes straight up plagiarize your hard work, and so should get an equal amount of ads. Your videos, though, are sometimes assigned a daunting amount of ads for a casual and new viewer to wade through. Bingo. I think this is done by YouTube for a reason. I've always thought this. I've had data people tell me that I should have 2 or 3 million followers based on data points. And it was the belief of these people that YouTube is overwhelming my channel with ads to push people away. That's why I'm not getting there. So if YouTube, as an example, puts on 20 ads on a half-hour show, and you sit there and you wade your way through it, they win. They've got all that monetization of you watching. And if you leave, they win again because they don't want you watching me. Simple as that. Thank Huck for all of her hard work. Hard work. She's sitting here sleeping. We really appreciate her channel. You have an amazing ability and presence which easily draws people to you. Everyone loves to watch your content, even though, to be honest, is quite basic. No offense, but I mean, you do just talk into the camera, which is perhaps just the way you like it, and always want to be kept. But in this age of 10-second attention span, the amount of room for your channel to grow in the YouTube sphere has a bunch of untapped potential, all without you having to sell out to sacrifice your personal ethics. I really do think you could outdo even your book sales with YouTube revenue should you tailor a bit towards a larger audience. I hope to not sound too condescending. You obviously know what you're doing and are willing to do. Wish all the best moving forward. Obviously a new listener here, or a new watcher. And let me explain this. Have you watched my 3 movies? Missing 411, Missing 411 The Hunted, and Missing 411 The UFO Connection. I know how to put together content. I'll make this really basic. I don't have the time to play games and do all the high-end sound, graphics, music that I could do on this channel. And I could make it a high-end production. And I could probably still be getting screwed by YouTube. Now, they can't mess with my movies because I'm with a big distributor that puts them on big platforms, and they can't control that. They can control this. So, I made a decision a long time ago. I put big effort into my books. I make a big effort into my movies. And I do make an effort to get you good, solid content without embellishment that's first run And if you know me, I don't even watch other channels. Many people say, oh, you must watch this channel or that channel. And the reason being is that I don't want anyone to ever say I plagiarized them or I saw this on their channel. First of all, 99% of all the cases I talk to you about, first run, nobody's ever talked about them. They're either straight out of my books and nobody else has written about them before me, or they're brand new cases, as are the most recent ones on my channel right now. The last 10 videos I think I've done, all brand new cases, never been talked about on anywhere in the world in recent times. It's kind of the way I like to make it. And I'm happy with the followers I have here. And I know that the villagers understand me, I understand you. I want to make this a safe place where you can come and comment and you're not going to be lambasted for your thoughts. Now this is a very interesting story that was sent to me. Hold on. Hey Dave, not sure if you've discussed this incident before, but I've just come across what I believe to be one of the most bizarre triangular-shaped UFO reports out there. Missing 411, the UFO connection, part of that movie deals with a triangular-shaped UFO. The story comes from the book The UFO Report 1991 by Timothy Good. On the night of December 28, 1988, multiple witnesses observed a massive triangular-shaped UFO flying above Cabo Rojo, a coastal resort area outside Puerto Rico. Witnesses say 2 American jets were observed flying side by side behind a large craft, and before long, one of the jets entered the UFO. Then, shortly after, the second jet entered the UFO. The report goes on to say, after trapping the jets, the UFO lowered its position and came very close to the ground over the small Saman Lake. It stood still in midair for one moment, then gave off a big flash of light, then the central ball of yellow light under the craft. It then divided itself into the middle into 2 separate and distinct UFO sections. It was just incredible. The triangle to the right was illuminated in yellow and the other in red. That's when they both shot away at great speed. One to the southeast and the other towards the northeast, in the middle of the Monte del Estado. You could see red sparks falling from it when it divided itself. Wow, Dave, when I first read this account, the picture of the Puerto Rican triangular UFO on page 195 in the book reminded me of the triangular UFO in your movie and poster that sits behind you. Giddy up. At first I thought that this may be nothing more than the military exercise using a TR-3B over Puerto Rico. But Dave, I mean, come on. Can the TR-3B actually split in 2? I don't think so. This has to be multi-dimensional origin, right? I just don't know. This is a bizarre sighting to say the least. So I was wondering if you could please include this report in one of your upcoming UFO UAP classes. Also, from the attached text, there are other reports of UFOs coming out of the ocean off the coast of Puerto Rico. In closing, I just wanted to say I wholeheartedly respect what you are all about. A truth advocate for missing people, the letters, and factual news. Keep up the great work, Dave. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. The UFO classes. Since I'm doing the Skinwalker Ranch series, I thought it would be overwhelming to do that in a UFO class. So I kind of suspended the classes. We'll get back to those when Skinwalker Ranch runs its course. June 18th, 2023. The mystery of missing people in national parks. This was on News Nation on channel WIVB. As millions of people head to the U.S. national parks this summer, many may be unaware of the mysterious cases of people who have vanished within the parks. Where did they get this info? The National Park Service has faithfully kept records of visitors who disappear, often without a trace. Really? News Nation looked into the mysterious disappearances of those who simply set out to bask in the beauty of our nation. Whether it's the waterfalls of Yosemite, the meteor showers of Bryce Canyon, or the slack canyons of Zion, more than 400 million Americans and foreign tourists enjoy the beauty of our national parks. Unfortunately, some never make it home. National Park Service investigators are continually working to find people who do get lost in our national parks, said Cynthia Hernandez with the National Park Service. Never heard of her. The National Park Service keeps a list of missing. The National Park Service keeps a list of the missing? That's not what they told me. I have the letter to prove it, and the letter is in my books. Many people are eventually found or sadly turn out to be suicides. But some visitors, like 24 of those in the Park Service's cold case list, are simply missing. Ha, 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 ha. 24, what a joke. Yosemite has over 90 plus, and that's on their list just coming out of Yosemite. So either this person is lying or the Park Service is lying to them. The risks are everywhere. It's just not national parks. It's just when people go missing at a national parks it makes headlines, said survival expert Jason Marsteiner. Never heard of him either. They didn't interview me about this. Marsteiner said lightning, snowstorms, and rising floodwaters make situational awareness paramount. The first mistake is failure to plan. A lot of people go on day hikes and they may never ever spend a night outside, said survival expert Jesse Krebs. So now they've talked to 2 survival experts, but nobody who may be smarter than most on missing people. Krebs doesn't discourage solo hiking, but she does suggest taking certain precautions, like letting people know where you're going before you leave. Brilliant. Tell at least 2 people before you head out. Take a picture of all the gear you're taking, including what signaling devices you're taking. Some of the cases tracked by the National Park Service go back decades. How about centuries? With plenty of outdoor experience, one ranger on the list of the missing has been gone more than 4 decades. Another case involves a woman who vanished in '76. They are all missing despite the best efforts of trained professionals trying to locate them. National park responders, officers, and special agents are highly trained, experienced, and the most proficient subject matter experts to conduct search and rescue operations, Hernandez said. Oh my gosh. What an absolute hilarious joke. I know for a fact some of these people have never organized or been responsible of a search of a missing person ever. That's a fact. And to say they're the most experienced, that's a joke. Now, some of the bigger parks, yes, but you disappear in a small park in a backwoods area, good luck. The National Park Service website has downloaded maps, road closure info, and guides. GPS does not always work in national parks, especially those that are more remote and don't always reflect current road conditions. One survival expert says a $4 safety whistle is a must. Hikers should also pack extra food. You know what's not mentioned one time in this article by all these survival experts? Not one mention of a personal locator beacon. That's insane. I get so frustrated. And of course, nobody called to ask me about all this. Next article, or letter. Thanks for the special edition on the airline incidents. Very strange coincidences indeed. Skinwalker review. I agree with you about Prometheus using filler recapping previous episodes. It's very disappointing. I'm a fan and will hang in there, but fear that the writer's strike is affecting their episodes. I hope they use some of your suggestions, bringing in guests and exploring potential religious responses. They won't. On a similar note, last week I listened to an interview of a film industry insider on bad CGI in recent movies, including Marvel's newer releases. I saw the latest Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was like they hired a bunch of frat boys and just wanted to blow everything up in sight. The insider said cutbacks and budgetary constraints are causing some studios to hire less qualified people and squeeze them to the point of burnout. Seems to me this might be happening in Prometheus as well. I despise badly done CGI and really appreciate the effort you put into the UFO connection to achieve seamless results. So Prometheus has their own special effects group. They don't go outside. They have their own. So if they have a problem with them, I haven't noticed any. I thought they were good. But if they have, that's their own issue and they need to monitor that. Now, as someone who has used different special effects people in all of our films, it's not hard to find real quality people. A lot of people like doing this, and I found some really, really good ones, and they're listed in the credits of the movie, and I'm proud of what they've done. Hey Dave, I loved your latest movie, Missing 411, The UFO Connection. I've already watched it 3 times. Great work. Enjoyed it immensely. Someday I'll write with you of my own experiences of strangeness, but that is for another time. I saw this article posted today, 6/26/23 on Yahoo. Thought I'd share. It's a sad story for sure, but hopefully it will open some naysayers' minds and give those who have experienced this event some hope that things are finally starting to change. Perhaps the stigma or insanity of the craziness will now be looked at a bit differently. So this is a letter segment, not a news segment. So we'll push that away and go at that a different time. But I picked those letters out because I think they were really good. And I hope that the people that shy away from watching this letter segment will give it a second chance. I find them fascinating, credible, and they come from you. If you have an unusual story, send it to us at Can-Am, like Canadian American, Can-Am Missing at yahoo.com. I read them all. I eventually get to them all. And then we sit around and we discuss them as a group about what we're gonna use on the air. So, thank you. I won't speak too loud because I don't want to disrupt the little princess sleeping on the ground over here. But you are appreciated. And please share this. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We need subscriptions. And thank you for your time. Be nice to your neighbors. Do something good for someone in the community. Paulides out.